Now we would like to highlight those findings and recommendations that are part of that report, and I will present to you first to the mic Dr. Helene Soria.
Thank you, Dave. Well, what we learned these past 2 years, that nearly half of all the teachers leave the profession after 5 years. And Florida is going to face a critical shortage areas of teachers over the next decade, especially when our baby boomers retire. One of the most important things that I feel that I learned, I just came from the K-12 world 2 years ago and heard about our standards for teachers called FEEPs. It was the first time in 25 years that I had ever heard of those terms. And the Florida Educator Accomplished Practices are not streamlined from preparation to actual professional teaching in terms of the way that teachers are evaluated. In fact, Broward has not used the same standards to recruit, develop, or assess their teachers. And that's changing now with the state. There's also needs to be a greater emphasis on preparing and recruiting teacher candidates with a strong background in STEM subjects. And STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, and looking at all of those bodies and taught together in a special way. And very importantly is the lack of compensation during the student teaching phase can drive away strong candidates from the teaching profession. Many of the students at our college, Broward College, have to make a commitment to leave their jobs and sometimes their families for the 12 weeks. And we found that in state statute 1004.4, district school boards are authorized to pay student teachers during their internships in our research. And that never has happened. As a past principal, the district never gave us dollars to pay our teachers. And now, what we recommend. Admission to teacher preparation programs should include assessing of candidates' basic skills. While state statute does require the teachers to pass the general knowledge exam, we have found that there are still some basic skills, especially in research and writing, that teacher candidates are weak in. Subject area mastery and strong pedagogical practices must be included within all teacher eligibility requirements. Alternate teacher certification programs, which is students that have a bachelor's already and come back to get certified to be teachers, they must provide adequate pedagogy and academic knowledge in the science of teaching. And there must be enhanced collaboration with school districts and higher learning institutions in professional development for preparation of candidates. What we also recommend is that all the pathways to teaching must be held to the same standard. What we were talking about earlier, those FEEPs and those accomplished practices need to be uniform so that we know that all our teacher preparation programs are graduating the same quality teacher. And that there must be more rigorous certification on examinations in reading and in the STEM areas. The recruitment process should be better focused on getting teachers in the right position and giving school leaders the flexibility to recruit and hire their own teachers that match the school's needs. Formalized and consistent mentoring should be key focus for the induction and development of all new teachers. And that goes back to that teachers leave the profession within the first 5 years, and many times it's because we kind of just put them out there and, you know, sink or swim, and they need that mentoring and that help and that support. And to increase more effective parent-teacher collaboration in the classroom by providing teacher preparation candidates with better skills and strategies for engaging and communicating with parents, not just with their students. And now, my colleague will present the next part.
Good evening, everybody, or as I say at Broward County, hi y'all, how you doing? First, let me say it was a pleasure to serve on this task force. Anytime we're talking about teacher effectiveness, getting the community involved, I'm in. I was a teacher for numerous years before I became an administrator, so I have teachers at heart in every decision that I make. So let me tell you a little bit about what we found and what we learned and what we recommend. Well, what we learned, and let me remind you that numerous people were interviewed for this and numerous studies were reviewed, and sometimes we were given a packet this thick to take home and study. And anytime I study any research based on statistics, I pay attention. So we found that students with highly effective teachers learn up to a grade level more than students with a lesser effective teacher. Now I want you to think about that. There was a study done in Tennessee, and the analysis of that study showed that an average student who's placed with a high-performing teacher for 3 years, at least, will score in the 90th percentile on student achievement tests. Think about that. But a similar student with 3 years with a low-performing teacher will score at the 37th percentile. Teaching effectiveness is crucial in the classroom. It was based on a study. We also learned that most states, including Florida, use a binary evaluation system where we rate teachers either as satisfactory or unsatisfactory. So you can imagine if you were in a job and you got a satisfactory or an unsatisfactory and that was it, it would be difficult to say, how satisfactory was I? How unsatisfactory was I? Where was I satisfactory? So these binary systems are quite outdated, and we are this year moving to one that is not binary. You've probably heard about it by now. We will have more ratings in our system. Highly effective, effective, needs improvement, unsatisfactory. So we're moving in that direction. When all teachers are rated the same, and this is more information that we found out, excellence goes unrecognized and unrewarded. Teachers aren't provided clear indicators for their development, and low-performing teachers cannot be provided development to succeed. So we have to be more specific in our evaluation. We can't just say, you're doing a good job, next. Because for someone to grow in their profession, they need to be focused on specific elements, not just, overall you're satisfactory. So that's changing in Broward County, across the state. And while most teachers believe that standardized tests have value in measuring student achievement and informing instruction, most also believe that other evidence of student growth must be part of any teacher evaluation system. In other words, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm a multidimensional teacher. Please evaluate me in the same way. So that's what we learned. And now we're going to talk about what we recommend based on what we learn. And this is part of the outcome of our study. We recommend that teacher evaluations should be based on multiple metrics, measuring growth over time, rather than just meeting a benchmark from a single high-stakes standardized test. In other words, we should be looking at trends, not just, I went into the classroom and based on a 30-minute observation, I'm going to give this person a satisfactory. We should be looking at trends on how people do, how teachers do over time, because classes change, do they not? And the makeup of classes change from year to year. We also recommend that student tests must be aligned to rigorous Common Core standards. I know you've heard of this, and I know you've been reading about it. So testing becomes an accurate measure of content being taught rather than just teaching to the test. This is difficult, and this is what we're working towards, this goal. Teacher evaluation rating systems must be differentiated. And so we're putting that in place in Broward this year. Every county is. It's required by the new statute. And not only did the statute require this differentiation, but they told us exactly what those ratings were going to be. Highly effective, needs improvement, and unsatisfactory. So there's a lot more differentiation coming down the pike for teacher evaluations. We also recommend that the primary focus of any teacher evaluation system must be used to inform and guide professional development, because what good does it do to hear that you're effective when you don't understand what do I need to do to become highly effective? What kind of training can I go to? What kind of technology can I use? So this staff development is a huge piece of growing in our practice, and we recommend that and we recognize that. The other recommendation is that teacher evaluations must be consequential and be fully integrated with other human resource policies and decisions. We can't just give 98% of our teacher population satisfactories. There have got to be some teachers who need some help. There are probably some teachers who need a whole lot more help than others, and we need to recognize that and either move them into mastery of their craft or move them out of the system. So our evaluation systems need to be consequential, but in a good way also. We want to reward our highly effective teachers. So that's one of the recommendations we're making.